So like my manager asked me, he's like, well, Honda was dragging their feet on my renewal, and I think I was asking for like a $300,000, $500,000 kick or something. I mean, they wiped their back end with what I was asking. I wasn't asking for much. It wasn't being unreasonable. And up until my knee, I'd won every single championship for them, got them an undefeated season. So anyhow, they're like dragging. This would have been in 2003. Like October or something like that. So like December comes, I'm like, well, now I'm banged up, so maybe they don't, they don't see much value in me. So anyhow, they end up giving me my offer, not what I wanted. And then they put some language in the contract to where it didn't give me as much freedom as far as licensing and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Whatever. So it was actually, and then an injury clause, which I didn't have an injury clause in the first one. So really, I was taking a demotion. I was still willing to ride for them. I don't know, it might have been like 2.3 a year or something like that, 2.6 something. And my manager asks me, would you be interested in riding a Suzuki? I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. And keep in mind now, I've ridden the CRF 250 right when I had my injury at Castillo. And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. He says, well, what would it take? I'm like, just the thought of it, I don't know. I could give me a couple days to wrap my head around it. Like, what's that look like? And blah, blah, blah. And he's like, calls me a couple days later. He's like, have you had any time to think about it? I said, yeah, I have. I said, I don't know. He says, what if I asked him for $5 million a year for 3 years? $5 million. I'm like, I said, dude, you are crazy. There's no shot that that's happening. And we're sitting there and, still negotiating with Honda. And then I was at Atlanta Supercross. I was going to a Honda rider dealer signing. And my manager calls me, says, hey, you want the good news or the bad news? And I'm like, well, I'll take the bad news first. He's like, there is no bad news. The good news is Suzuki basically said they'll give you $4.7 a year annually. No injury clause. Because I told him, no, I didn't want race win bonuses. I only did championship bonuses, Supercross and Motocross. And, so 3 years. And then you're on your third year, they'll give you the option if you want to race part-time. But this offer expires within 3 or 4 days. And I was so hoping at the time, they wouldn't agree to what he was asking. Because I always had parameters, right? Okay, what makes a massive dent in the wallet and your future and what that looks for. And so I had it all done out. I'd sat down in the next 2 or 3 days and it did the math. I'm like, all right, dude, if I win this much and I win these championships on the Honda, I'll make the same or maybe a skosh more than what I would make on Suzuki. But if I get hurt, then the injury clause, they could exercise that. But there's no guarantee that there's no guarantee that I can win these amount of races in case somebody really steps it up. And Chad was already riding good. I knew Bubs was in the pipeline. And it just came to a stage where I'm like, dude, I don't want to have to be racing for the money, to make up for the money that I might lose. It's going to put me in a desperate situation, even though I didn't race for. Sounds contradicting.
No.
I know. Feel you know what you're saying.
Exactly
I didn't want to be
saying.
I didn't want to have to be there on the track, thinking I got to make up something on the back end.
It's it's just another thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
You signed the Suzuki deal, and all you need to do is what you've always done, which is just think
Go
about
out race.
yourself. Think about myself.
Yeah, I didn't. I did no bonuses.
What was the champ bonus?
I think it was $500 for Supercross, $500 for outdoor.
Oh, cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap.
I never
Still
knew
good
that you.
money.
It's still good money, but now it's $1.5 million. It's escalated.
I did. It was $1 million at Honda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago to get that. I was very, very fortunate. For I was paid well. I just came up through a good time. I had no control of when I was born. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
I took advantage of it in a positive way and won a lot of races. And that was kind of my motto. Like, that was how my parents and them raised me. Like, you go out and win and the money will come. Go win, 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 and let the winning do the talking.
Yeah.
So sometimes I look back, I'm like, I really admire what Pastrana did and how he was, and way more engaging with the fans than I was, and MC also. But like for me and how I needed to get the best results, I had to be super ultra focused.
Yeah, well, like you said, you feel like you're probably overcoming a talent deficit.
Yeah, totally, 100%, without a doubt.
There's only 24 hours a day.
Yeah, that's right. So it was good, dude. I'm super thankful. I look back and overall, like my overall career and the support that I've had and the people that I've been around, I've made some incredible relationships in this industry. I am super, super thankful. I'm in a position where like we already talked about, I don't have to do what I'm doing. I do it because I enjoy it and I enjoy sharing my knowledge. And overall, I've had a great career and have been, I hopefully respected by most. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, it's one of those things where you can't have a career as long as what you've had, and you can't do the things that you've done over this period of time without there being like an undercurrent of a good dude there. You know, like people just won't work with you. We've seen plenty of people that aren't in the industry at all. You know, people from your era that aren't around. One
thing that I did, and you could go fact check if you want, but I took really good care of most of the people that I worked with within the team that I never had to do, but I did it because of my appreciation for them. Whether it was bonuses, there's a lot of times if I won a championship, premier championship, like Honda, Suzuki, that I would give guys in the shop bonuses for that. You know, I paid my mechanics well, didn't have to do that, but I appreciated what they were doing for me, you know, and we were a unit also. And yeah, it's just my way of, you know, showing them thank you. And so, yeah, you got to I'm a firm believer, you have to take care of the people that take care of you, you know, like, so, and yeah, I mean, I would hope that I don't feel like any team that I rode for that I couldn't go back to that team and just ride for them again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Suzuki chapter had to feel pretty good, though.
It did. The Suzuki chapter felt awesome. It really, really did. You know who I was bummed the most for is the guys in the shop at Honda.
Yeah.
That's who I was most bummed about, because it wasn't their decision. You know what I mean? Guys you work with day in and day out. It was cool to hear when you had Lars on there, because Lars was there for that. You know?
Yeah. It's wild that Honda made that call. They've done it to so many people too.
Yeah. It worked out, though. Honestly, it worked out. I had a great tenure at Suzuki. It was a great relationship for sure. The bike was good.
Oh, had a lot 2005 RM 250.
That thing just ripped.
I got a mate at home. His name's JB, and he is obsessed with RM.
He likes it.
Oh, he's gonna froth this conversation, bro. Yeah. He's got he has probably like 4 of them.
Dude, I can just sit there and just rev it. Just sit there on the top of the jumps, test track, warming up, just loving it.
Such a sick.
I wish people like that don't know me could have been around me like when the Japanese engineers would come. Dude, we would have so much fun with those guys. Oh, dude. One time I took a rear tire inner tube and I cut it in half and I put it on their exhaust pipe of their rental car, right? And zip tied it and then tied the other end up in a knot and tucked it up into the bumper of their rental car. And like, as they were leaving for the day, I was like stopped and I was like talking to him, and I could see like as this thing is inflating, dude, the tube was probably that big, bro. And so I started like backing away because I'm like, this thing's gonna explode. And dude, it exploded. It blew the bumper off. They put the car in park, jumped out of the car. So then like the next 3 days, dude, when we'd leave the track, they'd be surveying their car to to make sure that they didn't do anything. I remember one time me and Tedesco, we would like sometimes when we'd be doing our testing and the engineers would be there and like I'd talk really fast on purpose, just messing with them. And they'd be looking, they're like, RC. I said, you understand? No. It was so much fun. And then I'm like, I'm just playing with you guys. And so I would tell them, or we had so much fun back in the days. Me, Fonz. I mean, it was, that's your atmosphere. It's like, imagine big stick and ball sports. I mean,
yeah. Locker room, just
locker room
with the
talk.
boys.
You want to build that camaraderie up, especially with the people that you work with, so take care of them and have fun.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.